In case you are just tuning in, this is Mount Zion Radio, the #1 online Christian radio station where God surrounds His people. And this is the Heart and Soul Show with me, Captain Rhoda Abuya, aka DJ Rashik. And we have an amazing guest in the house. Introduce yourself.
I am Tata Wekesa. I'm married to an amazing guy. His name is Pastor Victor Wekesa. As a toddler, most of my childhood was spent in the staff room with teachers because I was in the same school that my dad used to teach in. So after classes, I would go and hang out with him and the other teachers in the staff room. So I started teaching our little calf. We had a calf, I remember some time back when I was around 7 years old.
Calf, yani mtoto wa ng'ombe.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would stand in front of the calf and I would teach the calf.
Wow.
Sometimes when the maize is growing and it is maybe this height, I would stand in front of the maize and start teaching and I would say, repeat after me. So I basically just started loving teaching from that tender age. Then I went to high school. And my class teacher, I want to acknowledge her. She was called Miss Elga Riaga. I don't know if she'll get to hear this, but she was one of the inspiration for me wanting to be a teacher. So this teacher used to be very confident, and then she never even used to dress like the way teachers dress. Like kuna ile tu dress code ya walimu. Alikuwa anavaa tu vizuri tu yani. She used to make her nails. She used to have red nails, and she used to be so confident, and I would see like she really loves what she's doing. Mpaka nikaanza kutamani kukua kama yeye. Yeah, and she was my chemistry teacher as well. She used to teach maths and chemistry, but she taught me chemistry all the way to Form 4. Like alikuwa tu ananibamba yani mpaka akijam tu vitu zenye anafanya. Like they just used to make me happy.
So ulipenda tu science.
Yeah, I love science, yes, but I want to explain why I settled for biology and chemistry. I lost my mother when I was 1 year, 2 months old. So it is my father who has raised me up. Fast forward, when I finished Form 4, I got very, very good grades. Hata nikikuonyesha utaamini, utanisalimia tena.
Yes,
I got A's. Then in 2006, so at this particular time, my sister and my brother had moved out. So I was living with my dad alone after Form 4, waiting now to join campus in 2007. So I was really trusting God, to go and do medicine based on my good grades. So in August 2006, my dad collapsed in the house. I actually thought he was dead. So I went and called my neighbors, come and take him to hospital. I was just, I think, 19 years old. So they came and took him to hospital. He was admitted on a Thursday at around 1 a.m. and nobody attended to him until Saturday 8 p.m. So when he was admitted, I don't want to mention the hospital, they put him on a bed and nobody touched him, nobody attended to him and nothing until when now he woke up from his unconsciousness himself, that now he started calling out for help and ulikuwa kwako nyumbani, then you're woken up, you're in a hospital and you don't even know how many hours you've been unconscious. Of course that is very scary. So they attended to him on Saturday night, and when I saw that, I decided I don't want to do medicine. I do not want to be in the medical field.
And created an impression in you.
Yes, and no, not really an impression, but I made a decision that I don't want to be part of any neglect that can happen in a hospital setup with me as a doctor. So I decided I really do not want to be there. Up to date, people still tell me that I can do medicine. My pastor the other day was telling me that I should consider doing medicine because nikianza kuongea like hizo vitu za biology nini, I'm very resourceful when it comes to biology and chemistry, and I read a lot of these medical articles and all that, but that was my main reason for not doing medicine. And because I loved teaching, I decided to go and do Bachelor of Education Science, Biology and Chemistry, because those are the subjects that people who are doing medicine do. So I decided now to be a teacher of people who want to become doctors, not becoming a doctor myself. So that's how I ended up being a biology and a chemistry teacher.
So yes. So hold it down.
Yes, I'm holding it.
So inspiring. Thank you. you so much. I also wanted to ask you to talk about the whole gaming story. For now, I just want you to take us, step by step from 19. Your father is in a hospital bed, and then now you decide, I'm not going to work, in the hospital with all these good grades. Now, Maki hapo bado haujajoin campus, sindio? So utatuambia tu
a short nini up to where I am. My father is very alive. He became well, and of course, out of that experience, I decided I do not want to be a doctor. I don't know if it was an emotional decision, but I decided to teach people who want now to be doctors. And I went to Kenyatta University in 2007 and started doing education science. An interesting fact, along the way, I almost quit school because I started feeling like teaching will not give me the money and the life that I want.
Almost quit school. At what level was
At
that?
third year. Actually, in second year, kuna time sikuenda shule. Aki wenye walinilipia tu school fees kasisikie. There's a time I didn't go to school. I was selling insurance because I wanted a quick fix. I wanted to just make it in life. It's a positive and a negative for people of my personality. We just want to make it by all means. So nikaanza kuona, sasa nikisoma nikuwa mwalimu, alafu niandikwe na TSC, hiyo hesabu iko ina ada. But there's one man, the career advisor of Kenyatta University. I went to him and told him I want to quit. What is the process of quitting university?
Literally, you asked that?
Yes, I walked to his office. He's called Mr. Njoroge. I told him I want to quit. I don't want to become a teacher. I feel like I am too great to become a teacher. So I want to quit. I want to become a news anchor. Nilikuwa tunataka kuwa tu kama Catherine Kasabuli. May her soul rest in peace. Kwanza there's a time I saw Lilian Nguli driving a Mercedes somewhere in Karen. Nikasema, now this is what I want to become. Anyway, Mr. Njoroge encouraged me to finish school. And also, a very great person I want to acknowledge is my pastor, Pastor Jimmy Masharia of Harvest Family Church. He raised me, he housed me, he gave me fare to go to school. Kuna siku nilishiwa na gas, akanipatia pesa ya kujaza gas. Like those things, those things, I don't forget them. Those are the people who actually contributed to me finishing school. But in fourth year again, I started seeing like this greatness in teaching again. Nikaanza kuona bebe hii kitu inaweza work. And by God's grace, I really didn't struggle to get a job. I started off in an international school. My first job in 2012, got married in 2013 while still working there. Took a career break from 2016 to 2019 to raise the children. Got 2 children in less than 2 years. Do your mathematics. Yes, sikuwa napumzika, but I was off employment for around 3 years. But even when out of employment, the passion for teaching has never gone down. I would find myself just doing something, even if it's online. I would find myself advising parents how to deal with their children and all that. And that's when now I actually realized that other than being a classroom teacher teaching biology and chemistry, I realized that I also have a passion for coaching. For the longest time, it's just that I changed my social media names due to the Guinness World Record venture. But my social media has always been Coach Rose because I coach teenagers, young adults who are confused the way I was confused when I was a young adult.
Shikilia hapo kwa coaching parents on how to
deal with their problematic children.
Exactly. Mimi kwanza nataka kushikilia hapo kwa science, hapo kwa biology and chemistry. I've grown up in an environment where people are saying biology is hard, chemistry is hard. Hizo ni subjects za wanaume. Utakuta tu mostly ni wanaume wanafanya combination ya physics, chemistry and biology. Were you not affected with that? Because I'm saying you've carried it all through hard up to campus. Because at campus level, you had a choice to settle for, let me use the term, a less complicated course. But you still went for Bachelor of Science, chemistry and biology. So what has been the drive? Has it always been a positive attitude towards chemistry and biology? Talk about that.
Number one, my father showed me that education is the key. Nowadays, we are showing children that there are other keys. TikTok, influencer, content creation, and all those things. Na pia kuna hizi stories the billionaires who quit schools and they created apps and now they are billionaires. I was not given such options. My father showed me that education is the key and the only key. So in Form 3, when he realized I was playing, by the way, nilikuwa nacheza. By the way, I wasn't those perfect students. And that's why when you come to the school I teach in, my best friends wanakuanga wale watoto naughty. See those naughty children? Those are normally my buddies.
Wale wa indiscipline.
Wale wa indiscipline, wale wenye hata walimu hawataki kuwaona. Hao ndio wanakuanga, yani I hate them, you know? Yeah. So my dad alinionyesha usiposoma na usipopita, it is over for you. So that means I had to work hard right from the start.
Chemistry, biology, English, you have to pass all of them.
Yes. Nakumbuka one time when I was going now to join form 4, father aliniita akanikalisha chini, nimevaa uniform now, I'm ready to leave so that I can go for form 4 faster. Akaniambia, Rose, if you don't get a grade that will take you to university, I will not pay for you the private universities and the privately sponsored program. He told me, I will not pay for you. You go and work, get yourself into campus. If you don't do that, you will be doing menial jobs and you will be married by a boy from this village. Mimi nikiimagine ati naweza olewa nao maboy wa nini wa Kabazi na Guru wenye tuligrow now. It also motivated me. The other thing that motivated me was my teacher, Miss Elga Riaga. She showed me that you can actually slay as a teacher. You can be confident as a teacher. At one point she even used to come to school with a car. Unajua walimu hizo siku walimu wako wanaendesha magari. At that point, at my level of thought, that is actually what used to, hiyo ndio ilikuwa inanibamba, the life I desire. So for sciences, I was good in biology, but I wasn't very good in chemistry. And I knew the system of education, the 844, if you fail in one subject, you're doomed. So I knew this subject, I don't have an option but to pass it. So I teamed up with my friend, she was called Olivia Gatwiri. Olivia ndiye alikuwa ananionyeshanga chem. We used to do group work with Olivia. Other than now my teacher teaching me chemistry, Olivia ndiye alinisaidia nikaiva chem. I got an A in chemistry. I actually attribute my passing of chemistry not just to my teacher but to Olivia. Olivia alikuwa ameiva chem. We used to do revision and explainia na shika. And when the exam came, I walked over that paper like no one's business. So that has been my journey of sciences. So what I can say is how a teacher packages a subject to a student can actually contribute to a student loving the subject or actually resisting that subject and never doing well. Because as much as I'm saying I got A in mathematics, A in chemistry, I used to get E and F in physics because of how the subject was presented to me. So the teacher actually is a big factor, a major factor.
It's true.
Yes.
We've had people say, hey, mimi mode wa chem alinifanya nikachukia chem kuanzia form 1.
Exactly. In mathematics.
People say, I dropped chemistry, maths and physics right from the first class in form 1. So So I think you should grade packaging.
Yes.
Wazazi sasa to the parents. Now you are struggling with kids who have an aptitude towards science. What can you tell them?
Number one, as a parent, you should never ever give up on your child. I have seen parents giving up on their children. I have seen parents putting their children down. You know, we do these meetings with parents, not just at my working place, but even I do a lot of private lessons and all that. No, a parent ana put down mtoto wake, anamwambia things that the child probably will never forget. So as parents, we should never do those things. Always show your child that they can do it. Support your child in every way. There are children who actually need extra lessons for them to do well. Yeah, kuna watoto hawawezi shika wakifundishwa once. There are children who do well when they watch videos. There are children who do well when you, the parent, sit with them and explain to them how you understand stoichiometry. Unakumbuka hiyo topic? Or how you understand circulation of blood through the body. So as a parent, we should never give up on our children. We should really pray for our children. Praying for your children actually works. And get your child a mentor. You can't be everything to your child. You can't be your child's provider. You're your child's teacher. And then you're your child's mentor. No. Your children need a mentor. They need to be in an institution like a church where they are being mentored and where they are seeing people who have gone ahead of them to guide them until they get to a better place.
Is there a way through which we can make a perception towards science become acceptable? Do people, nimeongea kuhusu attitude, so hiyo perception towards science, what are the factors, like who are the ones who are actively involved ama tu ni individuals? Expound more on that, because it's a build up as we go on and talk about this story, because 50 hours na ni minimum.
50 ni minimum.
Ni minimum.
Naweza hata enda 100.
Mrs. Rose, and she's taking us through her journey through science because she's contending for the Guinness
world record.
For the
Longest science lesson.
How can we make a difference? How can we make people perceive science as something that is, actually possible?
Okay, the first thing that we should do is to show the importance of this subject. Science is so important because almost everything, like even in this room, there's a lot of physics going on. In your body right now, as you're seated here, there's a lot of biology and chemistry going on. In this bottle of water is chemistry. So when I was doing my introduction video, I said that science is life and life is science. That is very, very true. So when you show the importance of something, it catches the attention of everyone. And the other thing that we can do, especially as education institutions and as teachers, educators of science, is to package these subjects in a very interesting way that will captivate the learner. We should teach for the learner to understand, not teaching to finish the syllabus. You see? So when you teach for the learner to understand, it will captivate you. I remember the biology teacher who taught me circulation of blood in primary school. He was called Mr. Minor. He taught me for me to understand and to see the importance. And sometimes I can even, when someone is explaining to me that somebody had a heart problem and all that, I am able to figure it out in my mind because I was taught well. So sciences have to be taught well. And also now, of course, motivating the student to also study the subjects and show them how to study these subjects because sciences are not studied the same way you study humanities. When you're doing revision for a chemistry exam, don't do the same methods, the same way you would do for history. It all goes down to the educator.
Number one, we need to emphasize on the importance of science. Number two, how educators package while teaching learners. And then the other one, encouraging and motivating the learners that it is possible. Now going to be talking about the Guinness World Record for the longest science lesson, right? How did it all start? Ulijikuta jadi ukafikiria you can actually sign up for this? How has the process been? What have you been needing? What are you needing? How will it be? The requirements, the regulation. Take us through how you heard about it. At what point you thought or felt I can actually contest for this? And the people whom you shared it with.
Now, I said earlier, teaching is something I'm passionate about. And my personality, sio ile ya kukaa tu kukua comfortable just being a teacher. Because let me tell you, if I was to be comfortable, I can teach even for 30, 40 years. And there will be no impact. So I was at a point where I was wondering, how can I make impact outside the four walls of a classroom? Other than just teaching biology and chemistry, how else can I make impact? And I've always wanted to be known as icon of education in Kenya. I realized the impact that I want to make, I cannot make it if I am not known. So I started desiring to be known. To be honest, I did not know about the Guinness World Record until the Nigerian chef Hilda Basi did hers. I've always known Guinness World Records are for people with interesting traits, like people with the longest nails, people with the most number of teeth, such things. But I've never known that you can actually set a record in your area of profession. So when I saw her doing it, I told myself, this is what I've been waiting for because I want to be known for this one thing. Once I am known, I can now make the impact that I want to make through other means. Because let me tell you, you cannot make an impact if you're not known. If your voice is not heard out there, you'll have so much in you, big treasure in you, but nobody knows about it. I actually want to be known worldwide, so I decided to set myself on this worldwide platform and see what comes out of it. I realized I write very good articles. Facebook reminded me of an article I wrote, I think in 2021. I write very inspirational things, and that's just wisdom that comes from God in my area of passion. The same passion that God has given me. So I realized that these articles, they don't go anywhere because I am not known. If it was a celebrity posting the same article, it would go viral. So that is what I want, and that is what inspired me to do this. I just want to see a change basically in education.
Give us now the scenario Nilisikia, you signing up, the people you've shared it with.
Now, when I went to the Guinness World Record website and I searched for the record, I wanted to do the longest biology chemistry lesson because those are my areas of study. So I searched, I did not find that record. So I requested for them to make a new record for that. Yeah, I requested
it was not there.
It was not there. I paid, you pay. Yeah, and even by the way, even when I was paying for that application, it's not like I had money.
It's not even free. You pay for it.
So I sat down nikasema hata wakini reject nitakuwa nilijaribu instead of me sitting and wondering how would it have been if I had applied. So in June, I remember 13th of June 2023, I uploaded my application. In September, I got a rejection. They sent me a rejection and they said that they cannot allow me to set the record because they feel that there is no competition in the area, so many things. So they sent me that rejection on 3rd of September. I was so low. I remember I read that email when I was in traffic coming from a class. I felt bad. Nilisikia tu joto tu imenichapa hivi kwa sura yangu because since June hata sikuwa nalala poa because anticipating and I had to wait for 12 weeks. Then I did not tell many people about it. I remember I even delayed telling my husband because I couldn't believe that nimekuwa rejected hivyo. Then nikaanza kukaa ni kama nina accept. At around that time there was a series we were doing in church and we were being told that we have to be fighters. Our Pastor Jimmy was preaching that you can't just give up. You must fight. You must fight in this life. You must fight for your place, fight to win, fight to make it, fight to prosper, fight to succeed. So after 5 days I sat down, I said no, how can they just reject me like that? I switched on my computer, nikawapasha in their website. I told them I appreciate their feedback. However, I am still determined to set the record and I do not think that the reasons they have given me are valid.
You actually did that?
Yes. I told them I still feel that I should be given an opportunity. I am still determined to set this record. I told them I am qualified. I told them that my area has a lot of competition and so if I set this record, I will be opening up an avenue for people to come and break the record. You see, yeah. So I told them your reasons for reject my application are not valid. And I told them to guide me on how I can restructure my application for it to be accepted. And they sent. Nikasema siwasha reject. The worst they can do is to reject again.
And I really love their approach. You chose not to give up. You chose to passion them, but still in the passion you asked for guidance.
For guidance, yes.
How can I restructure?
Yes.
That's a very powerful lesson. You know, some of us out here have dreams, have visions, have goals.
Yes.
We pursue them, and when we meet an obstacle that is on our way, do not give up to it.
Yeah, you accept
we don't
defeat.
go on to consult, ask for guidance. How could I have done it better? So that is a very important lesson, even for me, who is listening to you right now. Go on.
I forwarded to them my correspondence and I waited. On 31st October, I got an acceptance. And in the acceptance, they told me not to call my record the longest biology chemistry lesson, but to call it the longest science lesson. And so, in the Guinness World Record, there is now a new record, which is the longest science lesson. And the person to set that record is me. No one has done it worldwide. From Kenya.
Rongai.
Yes. Yes.
Umekava na mimi.
By God's grace, it's not by power. I mean, it's just God who opened my eyes to this opportunity. I don't think I would have seen it with my natural human eyes.
And even as I'm listening to your story, there is divine intervention here.
A lot.
Because you had it some way given up, and then pastor comes and says, fight. You have to fight. So the hand of God is in this. And let me tell you, break that.
Amen. Thank you.
So, after you have been accepted now, how did people take it? Were they positive? Were there those who were negative?
Okay, the first person I shared with was my husband. I remember when the email came in, I was seated with a student and I just started shaking. I could not believe that I now have a go-ahead to be on a worldwide platform. So I called him, I told him they have sent me an acceptance. And I went and posted on social media. I told my pastor, my mom, Pastor Mercy, and then I told a friend of mine called Liz Mwaura. She's chairing the planning committee for this event. And when I applied and even when I was rejected, I told her. And she was so happy and all that. So that's where the journey began. This is something new. So most people do not understand. The people who are not really eager and keen to associate themselves with this is because they do not understand the impact it could make, how big this means. Because this is actually very, very big. But they don't know. Because it has not been done before. So when I see somebody like looking like they are doubting and all that, I actually don't judge them because they have not yet seen the impact it can make. But after this will be great, both locally and internationally.
Yes. So we hold it there for now. And it will be okay if you share with us on how you intend to do this, minimum number of hours, wewe ukijiangalia utahit ngapi, how have you planned yourself on this?
Other than just the acceptance, they also send you the attempt guidelines. So the attempt guidelines now give you the rules you should follow. Now, I am doing the longest science lesson by an individual, but a lesson cannot be a lesson without students. Yeah, so I've been registering students on volunteer basis because it's a non-profit making venture. I am not being paid to do this. In fact, I will spend my resources to set this record. So the people that I'm bringing on board are volunteers. Of course, I do not know any other opportunities that will open up for those people also, as much as they'll open up for me. We are attempting this. I'll need 20 students. So far, I have, I think, around 14. I will need volunteers in terms of timekeepers, independent witnesses. I'll need basically quite a crew. But with me here is actually a list of requirements, which probably I can take you through quickly. We need teaching and learning resources. These are stationery. We need to print a lot of handouts, exams. We will administer exams because when you teach, you give exams to do the assessment. And then I'll need things like laptops, science models, reagents for practicals, since we are doing sciences, specimen, and we'll need charts and displays. The other thing is we need a venue. Now, at this point, I'd like to say that we have not yet settled on the venue because the attempt will be from the 13th February 2024, and we have to do it in a school that has a boarding house. Now, unfortunately, the Kenyan system schools will be in school at that time, so we are looking at any international school willing to give us a venue, and of course, it's really going to be beneficial for that institution because it will be also known on a worldwide platform. Yeah, so we have approached several institutions, but we have not yet concluded on that. We need health services, and at this point, I really want to appreciate St. John's Ambulance because they have sponsored the health services. So they will give us an ambulance on standby throughout those number of days, and they will give us medics who will be attending to both the public, the students, the crew, and myself as well. We'll need to be doing triage at least once a day just to check our vitals because it's an endurance attempt. We are pushing our bodies beyond the limits. I appreciate St. John's Ambulance at this point for sponsoring us. It would have costed us over 200,000 if we were to pay for the health services. So I really appreciate them. We need digital wall timers and screens. We need security. And for security, I also want to appreciate Tamka Security. They have said that they will give us 5 guards for the day and 5 guards for the night. So they're also our sponsors and we appreciate them. It would also have costed us a lot of money to hire guards. I also want to appreciate Champion Security. They say they will give me bodyguards. Well, I don't feel like I need bodyguards. But walisema watanipatia bouncers. Sasa mimi ni nani nikatae? So I appreciate Alex of Champion Security and CEO of Tamka Security, Masi Masharia, for agreeing to sponsor. We need transport to bring in the crew and the students, and also, after the event, they will need to be taken back to their places. Food and drinks for the crew and the students. We are looking at a maximum of 70. If we can get sponsors who are willing to feed the students and the crew for those number of days. So I was given a quotation for food which was around 300,000. So I know that is a check that one person can write for us and we are sorted when it comes to food. So I'm really looking forward to that kind of support. We need internet coverage. We need branding. We need to do flyers. We need to do t-shirts and hoodies for the students. We also need to do banners and posters. We also have a very big budget for the media because we must collect video and photograph evidence to upload in the GWR website. It is through this evidence that we will be given the title that will actually be declared worldwide as the Guinness World Record title holder. So if we do not submit the evidence as it should, then it can really, work against us. All in all, the grand estimated budget is 3.8 million. I've been approaching individuals and companies, people who are generous enough and people who believe in me that this will actually bring in some change and make an impact in our education sector. That is basically what will be required. So we will be there from 12 to 16 that whole week. Fundisha na kusoma. Yes.
So in case anyone wants to channel in their contributions they've had and they've been inspired by you, we'll just use...
There's my number that I can be reached on. I call it the Guinness World Record number. So anyone who is contacting me for this purpose, they can reach me on +254 748 048 752. I have an email, tatawekesa@gmail.com, and all my social media handles are tatawekesa. We also have a partners dinner on 26th January. There's a ticket to buy for you to get into the dinner, which is 5,000 shillings. I'm going to post it on social media. So we have a partners/sponsors dinner for anyone who wants to come and support in this. It will be at Stedmark Gardens. So now in that event, I'll get to explain more of what even I'll do after the attempt, because it doesn't just end there.
The Heart and Soul Trade, we have been having an amazing session with Mrs. Rose Wekesa. You're just blessing me. You are just blessing us. Now, we left off at a point where we're saying you're coming back to tell us about the impact. Tuleguzia your impact. Ulisema si ku make record peke yake na imeishia hapo. Those whom don't believe in you or see the essence in it can actually find a reason hata kama ni kidogo tu.
One of the things that I want to achieve by this, I want people to love sciences. Probably for us who are already adults, we already have our career paths. Probably the damage is already done. But what about these young ones who are in school? So after this attempt, I had said that I want to make an impact. I would want to have an organization that will now attract a lot of support from the government, from a non-government organization, so that we construct science centers in every county, science research centers. So a science research center will have labs, it will have science models, it will have science literature, and schools within that county. As God keeps providing and lifting us, we can even have several science centers in one county. You see, like Kajiado is a big county. If we can have a science center in Kajiado, in Rongai, in Ngong, so the schools of that area, when they want to do their science meetups, like symposiums, science contests, they go to the science center, they converge there, they do their research there. It will also be a place where we are going to showcase science talent. You see, some marginalized areas, some children have never been in a lab, and you do not know the potential that those children have until you expose them to the resources that they require. There are kids who can make amazing things that have science in them and innovations. So it will be a place of researching, a place of displaying talent, a resource center for science. So my aim is to have a foundation or a non-governmental organization that will now work together with other stakeholders and ensure that we have science centers all over the country. And I'm really targeting schools that don't have those kind of resources. I'm not even looking at Nairobi schools, because Nairobi schools, we have labs, we have smart boards, we have all that. What about schools in the rural areas, schools in Kitale huko ndani, and who have never seen some apparatus? Tunaweza pata a student is expected to do KCSE and they have never seen a burette, or maybe they are improvising using other things. Basically, that's the impact that I want to make. So this record attempt is now the beginning. Ndio tumepanda mbegu. Us looking at raising 3.8 million for us to cater for the requirements is a beginning. We will raise billions to build the science centers.
Like, it has been amazing having you. Personally, I'm inspired. Hata siamini mimi nafanya show. I'm so inspired. So maybe you could reshare in case there's someone who would like to support you.
You can go to your phone. So you go to M-Pesa, go to buy goods and services and donate to this venture. Our till number is 8190794. My number that I can be reached on is +254 748 048 752. Email address is tatawekesa@gmail.com, and then my social media handles, it's Rose Tata Wekesa everywhere, even on YouTube. Imagine niko na YouTube channel. And it's just, you know, I used to see people saying subscribe to my YouTube channel. Sikuwa idhani nitakuwa hapo. So guys, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok.
Like and share.
Fanyeni tu kila kitu. And above all, also pray for me that this is going to work out, because itatusaidia, it will help our young children who are in school.
Sasa unaweza tuma salamu?
Nataka kutuma salamu. Unajua Waluya tunapenda salamu sana. Well, I'd like to first of all thank God. I want to thank my pastor, Pastor Jimmy Masharia. He didn't tell me usifanye. He said wow, and I believe it's a wow attempt. I want to appreciate my mom, Pastor Mercy, my father in Nakuru, Mr. Joseph, my siblings, my husband. He has been very supportive. Yani anashinda tu akiniita hata kwa nyumba tu nikipita tu mbele yake ananiambia Guinness World Record holder. Anashindanga tu akinikumbusha hata zile times nimeamka with a lot of doubts and nini. ananiambiaga hii kitu you'll hack this thing. Yeah, so he's my number one supporter, and I also support him and I love him. I also want to greet my children. My firstborn is Victoria Zuri, then Vanessa Zoe, then Valerie Olive. Alafu sijui kama kuna wengine watakuja, but those three are the ones I have currently. I want to say hi to them and I want to appreciate them for who they are in my life. Yes. Nimemaliza hata acha nikunywe maji sasa.
Thank you so much for coming. We really do appreciate. Now it's time we release our listeners. Na tunamalizanga na kusema may the grace. So you'll join me today since we're the two of us.
Yes.
And now may the grace
of our Lord Jesus Christ and the love of God and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with us now and forevermore.
Amen. So thank you so much guys for staying tuned. I hope mmebarikiwa. Tutapatana tena next week on Monday, same place, same time. Bye bye.